day 4 capacity building program. And so before proceeding, we should enable for the recordings. Kapil sir, please start recording. Okay, thank you. And yeah. So today, day 4 of this capacity building program, and this FDP is jointly organized by Chitkara University and AIU, Association for the Indian Universities, and it's a 8-day long FDP program. And and the main topic and the main key area of this FDP is the advancement in technological advancement in higher education systems. So far we explored different topics, several topics, and yesterday we explored like game designing in education, game designing and recent advancement, a smart university ERP systems, and so on, and national education policy. So in this series, today we will discuss about the plagiarism and ethical practices in education and research. So as there is a major concern of plagiarism, and there are some ethical issues like predatory publications, etc. And so this burning issue, we have a very experienced resource person, Dr. Shruti Agarwal from Thapar University. And so we are happy to announce it's our proud privilege to have amongst us Dr. Shruti Agarwal. So brief introduction to Dr. Shruti. She is working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science Engineering at Thapar University, Patiala. And earlier to Thapar University, she was at Chandigarh University. There she was heading the Department of CSC and having associate professor there. She earned her doctoral degree in software engineering from the NIT Jalandhar, and her master's degree from the UIET Punjab University, completed in 2011. BTech from Chitkara University in CSC in 2008. She having more than 13 years of teaching experience in reputed institutions like NIT Chitkara University. She has guided 36 research scholars, published more than 100 plus research papers in the various journals, conferences of national and international repute. She has conducted numerous technical and non-technical events, supported various industrial projects, and have given talks in data mining, software engineering, and other domains, related domains. She is a reviewer of various prestigious journals, and she has hosted sessions chairs in various international conferences. She has 14 patents on her name and has been awarded with several awards like Abdul Kalam Innovation Special Appreciation Award, 50 eminent researchers amongst in 2021 Research Excellence Award, Ominator Award, 100 eminent academician of 2021, Global Femina Excellence Award. So from various reputed international and national organizations. So she currently working on book chapters, research projects, and patents in the domain of data sciences. So we are very having a proud privilege having with us. So Dr. Shruti Agarwal. So now we invite Dr. Shruti. So kindly enlighten this session and share your valuable experiences on your topic.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an elaborated introduction of mine. You have been a real good friend since many years, so I good to see you again. So,
Thank you.
good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chitkara University, for giving me this opportunity. So, let's to discuss something, a brief little knowledge which I have. And plagiarism is such a domain where each one of us feel like having a issue. Each one of us has something to speak about it, something to discuss about it. So please don't consider it as a talk, and please consider it as an open discussion when we discuss this topic. Thank you so much, Vijay sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I would like to start my talk on plagiarism and ethical practices in education and research. So this short-term capacity building program which Chitkara is organizing, I'm really appreciative of this. And I was looking at the detailed structure of how you have incorporated each and every aspect which is required today in technological advancement, specifically in higher education. So coming to the day 4, we should be talking about plagiarism. And before coming to plagiarism, I would like to start from the basics of research essentials. Like why plagiarism was so much important, because there was research, and why in research, how come plagiarism became such a valid point of discussion. So basic, what is research? I would not mind if all of you unmute their mics, and even if there are little disturbances, background disturbances, you speak promptly like in a lecture. So we say that what is research? Something which is searched again, that is called research. So when we search something again, there are chances that we find something which is already there. We quote something which is already there. We try to write something which is already there in our own words. So considering all these points, does plagiarism play a role in it? Yes, it does. It does a very vital role in when we do research, because it is searching something which is already there. So if I come to the definition, it is systematic investigation towards increasing the sum of knowledge. So when we say that we are increasing the knowledge would only increase if we add something to it. And it would not increase if we put something which is already there in some new words. So that is why the term plagiarism is so much important, because research says even if you have a complete search, read something, you have discovered something, or you have invented something, when we use the terms discovery, when we use the terms invention, we are adding to the sum of the existing knowledge. But when we do plagiarism, we are not adding something. We are just rephrasing it or putting it up in our own ways, but it is the already existing one. So, Vijay sir, can you just confirm my changing screens are visible to you?
Yes, visible.
Right, thank you.
Yes, yes.
We are on the definition of research.
Okay,
so in an endeavor to discover new or collated old facts, now when we say that we are only collating old facts, we are not making something new, then how will not plagiarism a part of it? So we will be discussing that as well. I hope in this small lecture when we'll discuss that when we cover old facts, when we are quoting something, or when we are putting something which is not new, which we have not taken care of, then how will plagiarism not be affected? How will plagiarism not be part of that research? So obviously, discovering and inventing both are a part of research. Then how we can segregate plagiarism out of it? So when we have opportunities, ideas, earnings, developments, innovation, experience, curiosity, growth, all this sum up to research. When we have growth, that means we are improvising, we have curiosity to improvise, we gain our experience, gain our historic data, we gain our knowledge, put up into the new knowledge, combine it and present something innovative. We develop something, we earn out of it something based upon certain ideas when given an opportunity. So when we say that it is a research where we are thinking, we are coming to the next question, we are solving problems, now we are creating or accepting things which were not accepted before. All these things comprise of research. So when we say that we are doing research, we are amalgamating ideas, tools, publications, we are amalgamating all these things to make a research. But when we put up a plagiarism point of view, then how come it is not a new idea? How come maybe we are using the same tool, Same tools used by different people. Is it plagiarism or is it not plagiarism? If we publish the same content at 2 different places, can it be possible? Are people doing this? Yes, people are doing it. They are not being caught. Are they being caught? All these questions will be covered in this topic. So, to work on problems to find a unique answers is plagiarism. No, it is not. Now, when we are finding problems, solutions to certain problems, there are many ways to do this. Either we can do it in our own way, or we can find it using certain rules. So all these things combined, we will check if they come up to plagiarism or not. So if we just quickly go to the characteristics, when we say that effective paper should be focused, it should have accuracy, it should have clarity, and it should not be wasting the reader's time. It should be concise of what is actually required. When we cover these points, we say that it is an effective research. And when we research for certain topics, we have to choose a topic, narrow down our topic, write down the thesis on it, and create an outline. Now, the plagiarism part can it be in choosing a topic? Same topic can be chosen by many people. Can a subtopic be chosen by many people? Yes, a subtopic can be chosen by many people, but there could be different techniques and methodologies to be doing it. You take networking, you take any topic, and then people would be working on networking. Yes, choose your topic, networking. Many people could be working on networking. This is not plagiarism. Now, in networking, maybe you choose a certain subtopic, and there could be certain methodologies, certain techniques, certain add-ons, which would be very specific to you. So, how you choose, how you narrow down your topic, in which aspect, which phase of your research is plagiarism going to affect you, that is of concern. So when you choose a topic, how do you choose a topic? We read, we talk with friends, we write down certain initials, we jot down those things. So when we do all these things, we have to ensure that is it a point of worry that is our research very popular, or is it a point of worry that this research has not been done by anyone else? Both ways it works. It works both ways. You can choose a topic. If you choose a topic which is widely popular, you'll get a lot of research on it, already done on it. You will get a lot of literature on it. If you choose a topic which is not widely used, then you will have the more opportunity, more platform where you can search, where you can figure out that this way you can move where the literature is not already there. And you narrow down your topics. It could be time aspect, it could be type, it could be class, it could be religion. Based upon various things, you can segregate, you can narrow down your topics. When you narrow down your topics, your interests are a lot to be mattered. Then you choose who, what, when, where, why you are choosing this subject, why you narrow down your topic to, and then you narrow down your topic. And you do the writing process where you outline, draft, revise, and edit. In this writing process, when we write a particular work which you have already done, there comes the topic of plagiarism. Then when you're writing it down, when I'm jotting down our points, there comes the point of plagiarism. So if we talk about the components of research paper, you all know that there is a title, abstract, introduction, literature review, methods, results, discussion, and conclusion. When we talk about plagiarism, same title cannot be accepted. So a title similar can be accepted, but the same title cannot be there. Like there could be different titles available, but a slight differentiation in the title is acceptable if you publish it at different papers. As for your thesis title, dissertation titles, for your research papers, for your conference papers, a slight variation in the title is acceptable. Exactly same title is not acceptable. Then there is abstract, which shows the trailer of the movie, which tells that how your research paper, how your thesis is going to work. Then that abstract has to be unique. It cannot be similar. It has to have certain special features. Introduction is the major part where we say that plagiarism would be affecting, because it is something which is, you're not sharing that some new information, some new knowledge. No, you are sharing which is already there. Then how to avoid plagiarism in the introduction part, because this is the major part where a plagiarism component will be affected. We will be talking about this. Then in the literature review too, we have to directly quote it, or we have to represent knowledge which is already there. So introduction and literature review from your entire thesis, from your entire dissertation or research paper are the domains where there is highest rate of plagiarism, and it can be easily avoided, easily removed if we work thoroughly, even if you have not added anything new out of your research. Obviously, introduction and literature review are the two domains where your work has not come up to yes, you have still not started with your work. This is something which is already there, and then you tell your method that this is the way I'm going to work, which will be completely new, very less plagiarism. You will be discussing certain results and discussions. Obviously, that would be new. Conclusions are which you made out of your work, something still new, and references. Is there plagiarism in references? How to remove plagiarism in references? Are they counted? This is going to what we are going to study in this one now. So we have certain research profiles. We can have various research profiles: ORCID, Scopus, Pablo, Google Scholar, ResearchGate, where we see different people having various high H factors, Scopus score, etc. So it is really a point of concern where people having very high scores may have even high plagiarism data. So how to find that? So, the components of the research paper, the title. Now, is the title? Yes, the title is a very important concern. Your title should not be same. You can even directly search it on any search engine. If the title already exists, you cannot use it. Yes, your affiliations. You might have seen that when you find plagiarism using certain tools, there is a plagiarism report based upon your affiliations, based upon your names. Is it counted? No, that's plagiarism, though it is a part of your entire plagiarism report. But when the editor, who might be from where you have submitted your paper, if it is gone for submission, if that counts into your plagiarism, that plagiarism will be removed. You need not worry about it. The affiliation part, the organization in which you are working, if it is counted in your plagiarism, you can simply ignore it. Then comes your titles. Yes, you can. There are higher chances you generally put up as introduction giving the plagiarism. That would be counted as a plagiarism part, though it is obvious, but it would be counted. So let us come to the definition. It is defined as the appropriation of another person's ideas, processes, results, or words without giving them credit. Now, the credit can be in any domain. We are specifically maybe talking about computer science, but it generally applies to various domains. So, according to UGC, there are various types of plagiarisms. We would be discussing them again with pointers. So, various types of plagiarism. Plagiarism means we are not actually giving credit to someone else's thoughts, someone else's words, someone else's work. Now, based upon them, there could be a secondary source, there could be an invalid source, there could be duplication, there could be paraphrasing, there could be repetitive search, replications could be there, then misleading attribution could be there, there could be unethical collaborations, there could be verbatim plagiarism, and there could be a complete plagiarism scenario. So let's discuss one by one each. Now, when there is a secondary sources, then there is inaccurate citation. So a researcher should always be very sure of where, if he has cited something, that what are the various sources. Now, there are two types of sources. One is the primary source and another one is the secondary source. Now, see, I have made a work and I have cited it that, okay, this is the citation which I am providing it. Now, someone else quotes the work which I have cited, I have quoted that I have done this work from someone else's, I've referred it from someone else's work. When the third person is citing my work, if he is citing the content of my literature, he should be citing my work. But if he is citing something from the further reference, then the further references should be chosen. Secondary source plagiarism not only fails to attribute the work of the author of the secondary source, but also provides a false sense of the amount of review that went into the research. So you should correctly cite the sources. misleading citation, fabrication, and falsification. It's a very big offense when the researcher reference either an incorrect or a non-existential source. A source which does not exist is cited as a source. Now, why would anyone do this? A source which does not exist, and you point it as a source. Why will anyone do it? Now, it could be malicious, or non-existent source could be done maybe because you wanted it to be. Now, why would anyone do a non-existential source? Can anyone just share? If anyone is listening, can anyone just share that why would anyone do a non-existential source? Non-existential source means that a source which is not there and you're citing it. Why would anyone do it? This could have a reason that they do not want to disclose the source, which shares that they have directly copied entire content or something, or there could be that they have accidentally not given the source exact link of the correct source. So there could be two types of non-existential sources, and both are fabrication and falsification. So obviously that should be completely avoided, because this way we are hiding the reference from which we have actually taken our content. Next is duplication. Self-plagiarism, we will be talking about in detail about self-plagiarism. So, when we are citing our previous studies, previous attributions, now why are we citing a previous studies? Previous studies which are published. A previous study which is published is self-plagiarism. Now, why it is my work? I do not cite it. What is the issue? See, if it is my work, I have not consider it my work as an author in the pond full of fishes. Now, if that work which is already there, consider yourself as also another author. If you're citing author X work in your research, then you are author Y, and if you have done something which is already there, you have to cite it as author Y. Even if author Y are you are yourself author Y. Because it shows, if you do not cite your own work, it shows that this is something new which you are doing. So, to avoid that, to tell that this research I've already done, this in this research paper, in this dissertation, or in this piece of article, I have not done this research now. This has been done previously, published previously. That is why I'm doing it right now. So why people do self-plagiarism is sometimes their new research is not big enough, or it is not validified enough to be alone cited as publication. So now what they do is they quote their old text as well as their new text, combine it and present it as the whole work is done as if new. So that is why self-plagiarism comes into the picture, but it should be avoided, because your work which is already published is out there for use, and if you have to use it, you yourself also have to quote it. It is like you have to you can't eat your words, you have to work as you are. Whatever you have published, if you will not even cite it, how can you expect others to cite it? So self-plagiarism is very much important. Paraphrasing. We will be doing certain activities on paraphrasing in my in this session as well. So paraphrasing, most important method, or most widely used method for removing plagiarism, when we rephrase our words, or when we quote certain words which are already there, to show that this is the work which is already there. So paraphrasing, we rewrite it, but certain paraphrasing terms comes into plagiarism, certain paraphrasing does not come into plagiarism. We will do certain activities which will share with us that is paraphrasing plagiarism, or how can we remove plagiarism using paraphrasing. Repetitive research. Now, when we repeat the data, when we repeat the text or from a similar study, similar methodology, without proper attribution, without proper sharing that this, for example, we take a data set. now you have a general method is that you generally take 5 data sets to validify your research. So you have entirely taken your data set. Now the data set, publicly available data sets are there, or you will be curating your own data set. If you curate your own data set, completely validified, you have to just give that you have created this data set. But if you are using public domain data sets or some data sets on special requests, on that case, you have to specifically give the reference for the data set from which you have taken your data. Otherwise, using the same data set, working again on it, you're using a new technique, you might be using new methodology, but the same data set is being used again and again. That also, it counts to a repetitive research. Replication. Now, see, when there is a submission of paper at multiple publications, many of the people, we see that we have been facing this issue multiple times, that submitting papers at multiple domains, one get accepted, you withdraw from certain XYZ points. We have to completely avoid this practice. Why? Because now certain Springer and many good journal series also do this method, that if they have the same title available at different domains, or similar content, not even the title, the similar content available at different domains, they may reject if one file is accepted in the first phase and they find it a similar file further, they might get rejected at the future stage. So please be very conscious. You cannot submit same data at multiple sources. Misleading attribution, very, very common these days. The second one actually is very common, misleading attribution. The first one says that you have not included some authors who were part of the your research. This is the first one. Obviously, it may happen. That is also part of plagiarism. We have never heard of it, but yes, when all the authors are not attributed in your research report, that means there were some authors who have worked on your research paper, on your article, and they are not attributed as your research. So this is a misleading attribution. But more than that, which is very common, is some authors not working on your research paper but still added as an author, is also an misleading attribution type of plagiarism. Then comes unethical collaborations. Unethical collaboration means when 2 people, 3 people are working together, and few of them are cited and few are not cited. That is also comes under the attribution plagiarism method. Then comes the verbatism plagiarism, directly cut, copy, paste, intellectual theft. You're not paying attention to anything. You're directly copying the content, citing it. You're not citing the sources, and you're saying that this is your work. Now, this is not only copying the content, their ideas are also copied. So this is your verbatim plagiarism. And the next is the complete plagiarism, which is also called stealing, when you're taking the entire plagiarism source, not only doing anything, and you're just submitting it in your own name. That is complete plagiarism, intellectual theft, or stealing. Obviously, it should be avoided at all the cases. So, it is also called global plagiarism, because you are completely copying the entire text and you're saying it as someone else's work is yours. Verbatism is also that. Paraphrasing, we will be doing certain activities, we will be rephrasing them. Patchwork plagiarism, which we generally is seen in many places, stitching together parts from different sources, copying X, Y, Z, combining it, submitting it, our work done. We say that, no, this is a X amount of percentage. If taken from certain sources plagiarism, we will take 1 by X. No, that is also patchwork plagiarism. And yes, there are various tools, specifically because of AI, we'll be talking about it. So there are various sources which can tell that even patchwork plagiarism is detectable and should be avoided. Self-plagiarism, recycling your own past work, not true. Recycling otherwise is good, but not for plagiarism. So we know that when we paraphrase, we have certain tools for them, and also there are plagiarism checking tools. Obviously, the famous one being Turnitin, used at various sources. Students can log in, use their resources. Now, one issue which all of us, when we check our Turnitin reports, people who are using Turnitin since many years know this very well. But if there are in our list, if there are any people who are first or second timers in Turnitin, a small itsy bitsy tip is that whenever you upload certain content in your classroom, in your section in Turnitin, whenever you upload any content, check your plagiarism, you get your report, please do a resubmission to that list only. You have done a submission, you have checked, this is your report, आपका report आ गया, कितना % plagiarism आया, you are satisfied, unsatisfied, whatever the case is. Now, re-upload only some random text to that Turnitin report. Otherwise, what will happen is that particular report would already be there, because you do a student access or a certain access, will be there for access to some other person. Now your unpublished work is at high risk available on that platform. So you can avoid it in that manner. So we were talking about self-plagiarism. When we are reusing our own work, if you don't properly cite your own previous work, you will give off the misleading impression that your recycled work is actually new. No, it is not new. So we have to avoid self-plagiarism. Now, if I talk about plagiarism and AI, artificial intelligence is doing wonders, writing entire books. What do you talk about chapters and everything? So how is the human intervention will help us? How will we avoid using AI? What is the disadvantage if I use a book entirely made by AI? And what is the advantage of a human read AI? Can anyone just share with me? AI is doing better than us. Any person who could just share with me. I can see a lot of participants. If any one of you is listening, that AI is doing really well, AI written content is doing really well, then can any one of you tell me that why is an AI written content not acceptable? Anyone? Yes, please.
I think so. That is a machine written document, I think, and so human analysis, human intervention, having a different realistic world.
Realistic approach, yes, sir.
And that might be a theoretical analysis by the machine that should not be practical as well. So it's not confirmed. So real research or real analysis and might having some hazardous results. So
right.
AI oriented research or any analysis, I think it's not reliable.
Indeed, sir. Indeed, yes. AI is not reliable because because AI is not. It might not be. We are using various chatbots. Are they giving us correct information? They're also saying 2 + 2 is 5, and they might be under certain circumstances. The answer could be true. They are saying this. Can we rely on the authenticity of the work? Can we rely that whatever work they are sharing with us, is it accurate to all the sources? Aren't they missing anything? There are many things to it. So a paper written by AI is not considered your own original work. It does not matter which AI program software you use. Whatever AI method you use, if you submit your work using an AI, it is plagiarism, because it is something which is AI. How is AI being used? So example is that GPT-0 is there. I'll be discussing about GPT-0. See, we check, just a moment. You can check a content written by me, and I want to check if it is right or not. So grammatically, I can check using Grammarly. I can use autocorrect feature if in Google Docs. Now, this is something which I have written, and I'm asking a AI, or I'm asking a app to check, to improvise it grammatically. This is fine. Is this okay? Yes, it is okay. There is no plagiarism in this thing. Now, because what are they doing? We are scanning pieces of writing errors, giving some suggestions, giving some edits. Now, a content, the base is already there, the content is already there, they're improvising it itsy bitsy points to make it more presentable. Because we see that many a times our research papers are being rejected because of poor use of language, be it any language. So these apps or these tools are helping us improvise the content, the written content. Now we are saying improvising, we're not saying that fabricating, no. So these tools help us improvising the contents. But AI, what if you're asking the AI to write that content, now they are writing it in their own original manner. Now, AI, if AI is doing writing for us, then AI has its own method. Like, see, two people cannot have same style of thinking, but AIs, they are trained models where they are trained for the existing knowledge and they think in a certain manner. Now, how do they do that? So, to avoid plagiarism, first we are doing, either we can quote the exact texts. We'll see how AI is working. Paraphrasing, putting someone else's words or ideas into your own words. We are putting someone else's ideas. Citing, I have given the basic information about the original source. Now, this is something which I have not created, but I will cite it that this is information is given by someone else. And please, very important, we do cite certain content, but we forget to cite the images. Images, if not made by you, are to be cited. Now, quoting. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. And this was written by kings. Now, how can we quote it? How can we say that this content was written by king? So either you can write it as Dr. Martin Luther King said, Junior King said. Now, in the quotes, you put up this content. And you have written in 1964, this is done. So this is the form where it will not be termed as plagiarized content. Why? Because in the quotes, you have said that this person has said this thing, you are directly quoting it. Now, how can you correctly paraphrase? Read the original passage, understand what they are saying. Now, synthesize. Now, synthesize is something which is not original. You are making it from that content and expressing it in your own words, and then citing, obviously, because you're expressing it in your own words, but it is not your content, it is someone else's content. So you're citing it that this author said this thing, but you're citing it in your own words. Very important, I request all the participants to please read the original passage and the acceptable paraphrase. What are we doing here is, this is some content from this book. So the original passage, the horror genre. So the original content said, the horror genre has become increasingly concerned with the relative and fragile nature of existence. Now, this is something which was there in the original passage. Now, we have to paraphrase it. Now, within text citation to the exact page of the book. How are we citing this? See, horror films often examine the relative and fragile. See, here in the original passage, we used relative and fragile nature. Relative and fragile nature content was originally taken from the original content. So I have quoted it because I have taken this originally from the content. And next I rephrased it as of humanity and what it means to exist. And now I also tell it that this content was taken by Wells. So this is an acceptable paraphrase. How we are doing this? How is it an acceptable paraphrase? This is an acceptable paraphrase because I have reframed the content, but some content was completely common with the original passage. So the completely common original passage, I have quoted it with relative and fragile nature. I hope it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Then, please, I would like all the participants spare just 2 minutes in this activity. Please read the original passage. Also read the paraphrase. Now we have paraphrased it. If you have listened to 2-3 slides earlier with that how we could paraphrase, you can easily tell that paraphrasing this original passage, will it be termed as plagiarism or will it not be termed as plagiarism? Let's just read the original passage. Let's all do this activity. Everyone, please. Despite its origin in scientific research and educational pursuits, it did not take long in marketing, advertisers and public relation practices to find the internet. Now, what we found was an uncharted land that rivaled their wildest dreams. More than a decade later, the web remains the least regulated of all mass media. Please read this content. And now we have paraphrased that although it was originally used in scientific, see, the first sentence was despite its origin in scientific research. How we have paraphrased it? Although it was originally used in scientific research. Can you see? Can you cite the difference? The first line says despite its origin in scientific research. And here we are using although it was originally used in scientific research and education marketers, advertisers and PR people. Now, please read the entire phrase. Please tell me, is it plagiarism or is it not plagiarism? Anyone, please tell me.
No, ma'am, it is not plagiarism because we are rephrasing. Because we are rephrasing the whole context.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Can you say that is it okay? Now, if I say that we have paraphrased it, but still it will count in under plagiarism. Now, what are your views? Please read the content carefully. If I say that it will be counted into plagiarism, though you have paraphrased it. It generally happens, na? This is the only scenario we are facing, that we are paraphrasing our content. Still, the plagiarism is not reducing. What is the issue? That issue we are resolving here.
Maybe, ma'am, the word count. For example, if the word count is more like 4 words, 5 words, and then we have to rephrase it to 3 words or 2 words, then maybe.
Yes. Very true. Sorry, I'm unable to see who's there. Kapil sir. Yeah. So yes, this is plagiarism. Why? See, the writer of this paraphrase changed a few words and phrases, but did not synthesize the original paragraph and changed it into own words. The writer used ideas in the original paragraph with minor changes and failed to give the credit to the original source. See what we have done here. Here, what we had done. The original passage for the horror genre, we have paraphrased it. Some content we used as it is, relative and fragile nature. We directly used relative and fragile nature, but we also referred that, gave the reference, cited it, that this content came from Wells. Here what we are doing is, though we paraphrased it, first issue is we did not paraphrase it completely, like commercialism is used again, some scientific research education is used again, okay. Some words are used directly, okay. Second issue is that we have not referred to the original passage. We have not referred to the original passage. That is why this paraphrasing will term under plagiarism. Okay. Now, let's just take another content. Activity 2, please everybody. Activity 2. Now here, if you can clearly see that we are giving due credit to the original content. In the original content, we have given reference that this content is taken 2015, page 468. So, is this plagiarism or this is a good paraphrasing content? Anyone, please? Anyone, please? Anyone, please, could just tell that is it a correct paraphrasing content or not? Have we paraphrased it correctly?
Maybe because we have put a reference in here, so it may be a proper rephrasing.
Yes, we have given a reference, but do you think there could be certain errors? See, let's just come to the rules of paraphrasing. We have to read the passage, understand what they're saying. We have to synthesize, put together the information express it in our own words and then cite it. Citing part done, reading, understanding of the original content done. But is third and fourth point cleared? Synthesizing and expressing it in your own terms. Here, it was not cited, so other things does not matter. Here, citing is done. But have we converted it? So what could be the case? Have you read the content? Have you read the content, the social media content? It speaks about the political and requires a set of specific skills and beliefs and the ability to comprehend those skills. So A, B, C, D, what could be the option? It did not cite the original source. Did it cite the original source?
Yes, ma'am.
It cited, so A option to nahi hoga. A portion of the paraphrase is direct quote and should be in quotations. Is B the option? Follows the original passage too closely, or nothing is wrong with the passage? It is not plagiarism. Yes, it follows the original quote too closely. Now let's just see. While the writer did cite the original source, the overall paraphrase follows the original passage too closely. See, here the main gist of both the phrases, both the paragraphs is almost the same. How can we rephrase? An effective way of rephrasing would be that you might have used the later lines previous in a starting manner, and then you could came to the earlier part of the paragraph. Whenever we write down a paragraph, there is within that paragraph also there is a start of the paragraph, there is some middle story, and then there is some end story. In paraphrasing, you might do it in a passive manner. Active could be converted into passive manner, like the end of the story, you can tell it previously that this results came because of this. If your original passage says this was the case, so these results came. So in your paraphrasing, you can say that these results came because these were the cases. So, but here that is not the case. It is completely reflecting the original content only. Okay, thank you. Now let's just come to another third activity, the last activity. Please study it very carefully. What could be the issues here? Now I'm saying that, yes, this is not a good paraphrase. What could be the issues here? This is plagiarized content, though even we have paraphrased it. What could be the issue? Anyone?
First one is the citation.
Yes, citation. So see, the writer of the paraphrase changed a few words and phrases, but did not synthesize the original paragraph and changed it into own words. With minor changes and failed to, obviously citation is there, the issue, but obviously you have to synthesize it. Now, what do we mean by synthesizing? Synthesizing means we have to give our own terminology, we have to understand it and say it in our own words. Like, for example, you have gone to watch some OTT content, and some of your friend is asking you to, okay, so tell me what the story was for that OTT content. Now you're not quoting, you're not giving their dialogues. You are not narrating as they were narrating. You tell it in your own manner that this is the verb, this is the way that the story ended, or this is the way that story moved forward. That means you're giving your own flavor, own personality to that content. So this is paraphrasing, and this can only happen if you do it yourself. AI tools won't be able to do it. Why? Now we'll do that also, that why AI tools are not successful in paraphrasing, or they are also under plagiarism. They are also counted as plagiarism. Why? Okay, let's do one more. Here, given the citation, yes, it is not plagiarized. Then it is worth noting that the term video games is far from a single construct. It is hard to judge the effect of video games on people because there are so many different kinds of games. Now that's quite effectively done paraphrasing, but what was the issue again? Did not cite the original source. Yes, they cited the original course. A portion of the phrase is a direct quote and should be in quotations. Can you see that?
B.
Is there something which is directly copied?
Yes, ma'am. Last sentence.
Yes. Yes. The effect of foods are. So this is something which we have directly copied. So how to avoid this completely coming again to the original content? See, if we have to copy even a part of the original content, we can put it in quotes. Like here we have done relative and fragile nature. Relative and fragile nature was the content which we have taken from that, paraphrased it, but there is a small content only which we have put up in quotes. Another thing to note here is Can we put all our content in quotes and say it, okay, now our work is done, it will not come into plagiarism? Can we do that?
No, ma'am.
What would be the issue? That will also come under plagiarism. But if we do a small parts of it, put it in quotes and present it, then it says that, see, we have taken this content, reframed it into our own words, but this particular set of words was something which is irreplaceable, so I have used it as it is. So it will also, because see, 10-15% plagiarism is acceptable because it comes into the introduction and the literature part, and something which you cannot say it is new, it is already there, so you can already do this. So with this small content being directly copied, put it into quotes. So it comes that original passages, too closely you are doing this. So a portion of the paraphrase is a direct quote and should be put up in quotations, that what the effect of foods are. Now, what about charts and graphs? We talked about figures, that figures, if they are there, you should be quoting it. Similar goes for charts, graphs, or any of the statistical images, that if you have not created it, you can use someone else's charts and graphs, but without giving them due advantage, due reference, it will be cited under plagiarism. So you can avoid plagiarism in citing by citing the author when you are using the direct quote, citing the author when you are paraphrasing his or her words, citing the author when using its charts, graphs, media, drawings. So what do you mean by citing author? You can put up the citations, put it in the end, that yes, we have used their word, be it in direct quotes, be it in paraphrasing, be it in graphs, charts, figures, etc. In all the parts, if you do the proper citing, then your work is not plagiarized. But obviously, plagiarism cannot be 100%. It should have a certain percentage. We'll see that. What doesn't needs to be cited now? We say that citation, we do all for all the citations, but is there anything which we should not be citing? Specifically coming to the introduction part of the basic terminology part of your content. When we talk about the basic terminology part of your content, there is something which you have not created. These are basic general definitions. They're not even available anywhere. You then Google it and you find it that these are the general basic definitions. Now that need not be cited. For example, general thing that a particular place is in a particular country, or what is a genome? It is a DNA of an organism, or Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of US. So this is general information, and general information need not be cited. Now, your own work, we talked about self-plagiarism, that we should not be doing self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism only occurs in the case where your work you have published and it is out there, then you can quote it. And if you're not quoting it, it is self-plagiarism. But when it is not self-plagiarism, it is not self-plagiarism in the case when your own work which you have not published, that does not come, that need not be cited. Your own opinion, you say that in my opinion, this is there. Now, this opinions generally work in literature. It is generally more probable there. Your graphs, your own graphs, even if you make slightest of the changes in the graph, you make your own graphs, need not be cited. That is why the result section, the result and discussion section of your paper is the least plagiarized, because this is your own work, you present your own work, that need not be cited. But if you're using certain articles, book chapters, etc., then in that case, you need to, that needs to be, you must cite the work which is done by another author. That surely should be done. Now, there are various AI tools. You say that various AI tools are being used. Now, how we are using AI? Using GPT. What is GPT? Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Now, in this question only, the full form only tells us that why we should not be using AI. Because AI is pre-trained. Pre-trained means already the information is there. From that information, you're training a bot or training an AI to use that information and present your work. That is why the answer to the question lies why an AI authored book or your authored book is AI authored book should not be acceptable and your authored book should be acceptable, because it has certain your flavor, your thoughts, your work in that book. But if it will be completely AI generated, this will be using pre-trained information. And again, coming to the basic, what was the definition of research? Research is something when you're giving something, adding to the knowledge. But when you're using GPTs, pre-trained generative, pre-trained transformers, then in that case, the information is already there. They're already trained. Then you have to you're giving that information which is already there. There is no addition of new information. When new knowledge is not added to the domain, then it is not research. That is why it comes under plagiarism. So first comes the GPT radar. Now GPT radar is one of the best tools for detecting that AI has done your work, because detecting AI in your work, detecting that this work is not done by you, this one done by ChatGPT or maybe any other resource, is the most prominent form of plagiarism now. So what does it do? It performs calculations. GPT-3 can detect it is written by humans and machines, but GPT radar indicates more confidence, more models can be generated. So the accuracy percentage is quite high here, and its general cost is $0.02. It's very cheap, but obviously we focus more on the free AI tools. Then there is Original AI. Original AI is a bit costlier, so here it monitors activities. It just does not check one page. It just checks the entire website or an entire content. So Originally.ai is, maybe you can say, a bit edge over GPT radar, because Originally.ai is not only checking plagiarism on a certain content, but contents which are connected to each other, like in a website. Then there is GPT-0. Now, it works on two things. One is perplexity, and other term is burstiness. Now, what is perplexity? Perplexity is how random the text in the sentence is, and whether the sentence is constructed in usual or surprising the application. What does this mean? It very clearly defines the difference between a human writing and a writing by an AI. When AI writes in a monotone. A single tone works for the entire content. But when a human writes, because human mind, human brain works in a certain manner, there would be certain aspects which make it more humanable. In the term is that when you write a certain content, the method of writing the first line would be different from that for the second line, the preceding line, and so on. The tones would keep on changing, but there will be a monotone for your AI content. And this is the way it checks that content is written by AI or content is written by humans. And second thing is burstiness. Now, human content is more discontinuous. We tend to write with more variable sentences. But AI generally tends to write in the same variation. The variation, the level of English, or I may say, for example, writing a content, the level of English we might use a very high level English in one sentence and very basic English in another sentence. So that tells the human tone of it. But a computer or GPT or the bots, they would be using the same level of English throughout the passage, which tells that this is AI written and not humanized written. I hope you can understand now that how we are able, or how there are also bots to check if it is written by bots or written by humans. So this is the way they are checking that. There is also GPT-0, it gives an extension Origin, which checks based upon keystrokes. Can anyone tell me that you generally tick, I am a human, I am not a robot? Or we tick where there are traffic lights, tick where there are motorboat. How is this work can also be done by a robot, can also be done by a bot? Do you agree with me? Anyone listening? Do you agree with me? Anyone listening?
Yes, ma'am.
हम टिक करते हैं कि this is I am not a robot, या हम टिक करते हैं कि tick the line where there are traffic lights, tick the boxes where there are bicycle. So this work can also be done by a machine. How is it checked that we are not a machine and we are humans? Did you understand my question, everyone?
Yeah, so there are some like puzzle, they put some puzzles having some human intelligence. And so just now they randomize their picture set and just asking like a vehicles, like a bridges, etc.
No, sir. So the answer lies here that even before you tick the answer, the way you move your cursor and go to that answer is the point where it detects that is it a human or it is a bot. You will move your cursor to the left, move to the right, and then you will move it to the particular point. Or even while moving it, even before you tick the answer, you are identified that you are a human or you are a bot. Because a bot will go a direct path and directly choose it, but a human method of moving the cursor will be humanized.
Okay.
So this is the way, even before checking, even before ticking, the system identifies that this is done by a human, and if you do it continuously, humans will always have a different method every time. But a bot will find the shortest path and it will tick it. So that is why it is identified that it is a robo or it is a human. It is a bot or it is a human. So similarly, so the AI is detecting that this content is written by a human or not by a human by detecting the tone of your content, by detecting the pace of your content and the quality of your content. It should be same. It might not differ. Then there is AI Detector Pro. Now you see there is Bard also there. There is GPT. Now GPT के भी बहुत सारे their versions are there. GPT-3, GPT-4. So there are 30 more additional tools added to AI Detector Pro. Another is GPT Kit. Now GPT Kit, it says that it has around 98% of accuracy, and reports are quite authentic. Human written text and chat GPT generated texts are very varied and they are able to identify it. Copy leaks, very popular these days. They are claiming 99.12% of accuracy, and they can even identify content used by various platforms and also provide integration with API and LMS platforms. You can see that many people are using startups and making websites and apps completely through bots. So that can also be identified using copy leaks. It is costing quite around like $11 per month for 100 pages. So now if I talk about plagiarism in news, see recently in October 23 only this got this information, and when he filed a case in May 23 that Ed Sheeran, the popular singer, he said he'll quit singing if he's found guilty of plagiarism. And he won the lawsuit that his work was copyright and it was not plagiarized. Another popular news was that Hollywood writer studio Battles of AI, that they are now keeping an eye of the content which is already using. They know that AI is being used. Now they are putting an edge over it, that there should be a limit to the use of AI. You know that Turnitin we are very popularly used, and Turnitin is being used by more than 1 lakh educational institutes and many institutes which are being used Turnitin. Very sadly, plagiarism is taking jobs as well, as UNC research chief admits to plagiarism, and he has resigned because he found he sent an online grant application by collecting information from various sources. So it was patch plagiarism. Which type of plagiarism was there for which he was admitted? It was patch plagiarism, because from multiple sources he collected the information and he put up a grant application which was plagiarized. Now, we talked about plagiarism, we talked about types of plagiarism, we talked about implications of plagiarism. Now, there was a report that journal's plagiarism detector may flag papers in error. What is it? See, there was a professor of behavioral science, he was a behavioral scientist, and he highlighted that see, we as researchers, we as authors are using AI tools, then even the editors or even the journals could also be using AI tools to check that if our work is plagiarized or not. Now, he challenged that his paper, though it was not AI based, but his paper was rejected. Why? His paper was rejected based on author affiliation, based on references, and based upon already existing methods. Now, if there would have been a human intervention, because it could only be done by human intervention, that author affiliations, as we discussed in the start of this lecture, that author affiliation are not part of plagiarism. They come under the part of plagiarism, but you have to ignore it. And references, they can't be coming in the part of plagiarism. You have to ignore it. So these author affiliations and references were included in his work, and he was said that his paper is plagiarized. If the entire work is done by a bot, only then you can reject the paper. But if the human intervention would have been there, his paper would have been accepted. So there is a loop. Human intervention would always be required. 100% plagiarism cannot be there. So there are various plagiarism checkers. You can search it, and there is this overall score for that as well, popular being Turnitin. So some key points to remember are that Springer, very giant publication house, so it is specifying around 15% of similarity is permitted, and limited around less than 10% for your book chapters, etc. You have to include footnotes, endnotes for specific authors. For links, URL sources, you should be using the authors, co-authors must be added in the main body of your text. Hyperlinks should be displayed for additional information about the topic written by someone else. Someone you have not written the topic, to give a link that more information, I'm including just this part of this information in my work, more information can be added to your work using hyperlinks. Now, in a very good manner, MLA, Modern Language Association, says that 60% of the students says that they have committed unintentional plagiarism. They did not knew that it is a part of the plagiarism, but they have destroyed their careers. Now, unintentional plagiarism, you cannot say that I was unaware, because now we know the types of plagiarism, how to paraphrase, how to remove this plagiarism. And we have seen that people have, even the VCs have lost their jobs because of plagiarism. So it is a serious offense, and we should be taking it very sincerely. So also to know more, there are various courses also available on even Swayam platform and various other platforms which discuss how to avoid plagiarism types, whatever we have discussed throughout the lecture in a detailed manner. You can refer, this is just a part of it, you can refer them. If your work is not plagiarized, do your own work, research in your own manner. There are various research opportunities available at various places from our government organizations, non-government organizations, which you can explore, which you can work upon. Do not use AI as your replication. You may use it for reference, but it is not your replication. Your individuality is very much important. It will help you out if you do your own work, be it little, be it small, be it a part of it, but please represent your work in your own words and work consciously. Thank you. These are the references. I suppose references are very important while you should be using it. So this is my work and my LinkedIn profile.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And this was very informative and very interesting. And so I think participants.
But we are open for questions. If anyone has any questions, any research, we would be surely like to discuss the same.
Yeah, ma'am. I have some question regarding the plagiarism.
Yes, please. Your good name?
Ma'am, like just there are many AI tools which are used to remove the AI content and the plagiarism in the context.
Humanize the content. Humanize the AI content.
Yeah, humanize the AI content. But are they acceptable in the future of the research, or there may be some another technique to remove those things?
Obviously. See, initially when ChatGPT came, many people published, they were directly copying and submitting it, and thus their work was accepted maybe in the initial month of November 2022. But now obviously it is blocked everywhere. Similarly, humanizing AI content also leaves a bit of an AI content in them. How is AI content, humanizing AI content working? There maybe to toning, removing the tone or changing the method. How are they humanizing? Humanizing in a way, maybe they're not using the same tone in the different parts of the paragraph, but still AI still is an AI. It cannot humanize the way we humanize the content. So obviously that would also be recognized to some point.
Yeah, and okay, ma'am. And the next question is from the audience.
जी.
During the plagiarism check in Turnitin, there are 10 words black check, 12 word black check. So, is there any can you explore or tell the audience what is the meaning of 10 word check, 12 word check, 16
Yeah,
word check?
yeah, sure. So see, when we did the paraphrasing, when we were doing in the paraphrasing, how many words when you paraphrase? Generally, what everybody does when you're quoting, citing a content, you are citing.
Hello. I'm audible.
You say that up till 12 words do not count it as plagiarism. Up till 15 words do not count it as plagiarism. Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, you are
Yes.
audible.
Yes. So अपने you say that अपने that is why you say कि मैंने तो जब plagiarism निकाली थी तो 10% आ रही थी, आपने निकाली है तो 18% आ रही है, because you have put up that rules, so you cannot that rules are not acceptable, universally acceptable.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. That's on my side.
Thank you so
Now
much,
we just
Kapil.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kapil.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And very practical questions from the researcher scholars. So they are finding difficult of access of Turnitin. I think Turnitin subscription is very high. So is there any way,
See,
affordable way to the students
so
so that
there are
they can check their papers
there are
at
three
low cost or free of cost, or any equivalent software that having so quality or equivalent reliability like written. So is there any way?
See, sir, I've shared one the script, though Turnitin is the best one. There are three ways to do this. The first way is that you can use Scribble. This is also paid for some time. See, there are three ways to do this. The first one would be that if your organization is providing certain access, so there are slots you can just log in and you are given the access. Many good organizations are providing it. Secondly, what you can do is many people now please do this only on if you trust that particular source, that if you're using your links, if some of the friends are there in certain organizations, you can check your work, you find that you are authentic, you can share your work with them, or you can share the credentials if they find, if it is comfortable to them, you can share your sources. But see, plagiarism, again, what we have discussed is how are we checking the plagiarism? They are based. Now this is a very this is like how the teacher is checking the paper. Some teachers would be very strict in checking the paper, some teachers will be very frivolent in checking the paper. Similar, the plagiarism tools are working. So obviously Turnitin being the most popular one. Why? Because it gives you the exact picture of what is done, what is being done. Urkund login you can do and you can access it. So there are certain paid Turnitin courses where for one time you can pay and you get the access, but they are not authentic one. There are some people who are doing this for money. I'm not sure if it is authentic, it's right way of doing it. Better is you always find the authentic source. Best is if your organization is providing it, or if you want it, then you can access it with your friends or a community, you can access that. But please do a plagiarism check without using any rules of 10 page, 12 page, 15 page, because you are just bluffing yourself. Ultimately, when you send that data to a particular editor or to a particular place where you would be submitting the data, they wouldn't be doing 10 page, 12 page, they would be completely giving you the true picture. Yes, your affiliations, your references, though if they are coming in plagiarism, they will be removed, they will be avoided.
Okay, and thank you, ma'am. And any free tools that students can use at their
free
home?
though don't give the correct picture. I really don't recommend free tools. Urkund, Turnitin are the best ones to use.
Okay, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
And,
much, Vijay sir. Thank you for having me. That had been a wonderful audience, and maybe even a part of it, if anyone could have gained out of it, my work is done.
Definitely. It was a very interactive and so interesting discussions. And so, and ma'am had already worked a lot in the area of the research. So, and sharing very practical experience to the audience. So I think audience must benefited and their experience and the expertise. So thank you once again. So Shruti ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you so much.
so yeah. So in future we will collaborate further or in more topics, more research topics. And okay, thank you once again.
Thank you,
Uh,
sir.
okay, thank you, audience. So this was morning session. In the afternoon session, we have another session at 1:30. Oh, 1:30, no? At 2 p.m. Huh? Okay, okay. Thank you. So
Thank you,
now.
sir.
Okay, one second.